What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you guys my review for Dragon Ball Daima episode number 4. So this episode is titled Chatty, and based off the title you wouldn't really be expecting what exactly happened in this episode. So one thing I do want to say is Dragon Ball Daima has been giving us some pretty broad, 1-2 word titles, which is something I actually appreciate because Toei Animation is known for giving very spoilery titles. Especially if you look at some of the titles we had in Dragon Ball Super, you'll see how much of a case that truly was. So this is a good change to see. All in all, for Dragon Ball Daima, this was yet another enjoyable episode for me. I feel like the weakest episode so far out of everything has been episode 2, and even that one I thought was a good setup episode. So I think we're only really improving from what we saw in that episode to what we're at now. So we start out from where episode 3 left off, which was the ship of Glorio's being stolen, or the plane of Glorio's being stolen, since they call spaceships plane in the demon world, I guess. So Goku suggests flying for the moment, but Glorio says that the air will cause too much energy depletion, so he doesn't like that idea. Goku actually tests it out and tries, but it's too tough for him to really controllably fly up there at the moment, so they end up just walking. They do, however, have to use flight in an area where they go over the Sea of Darkness. And in that area, a creature attacks them from the Sea of Darkness. And Glorio actually takes care of this creature. This is pretty much a 20-second sequence of action we get, but the animation was great. Probably some of the best stuff we've seen so far, honestly, from a animation standpoint. I really liked what I saw, and it's nice to see that they gave so much care to a scene of Glorio's, with him being a new character and everything. Showed a lot of effort on a scene for such a, not so big scale of a fight for the moment. So that was really cool to see. Goku sees this and pretty much he says that, hey, you may be stronger than Supreme Kai, which I thought was kind of funny that Goku said that. And pretty much after that, Supreme Kai's like, I'm pretty strong too. So yeah, so maybe we'll get to see Supreme Kai in action. We didn't get to see that this episode, but maybe at some point we will in this series, and I don't know what kind of showing Supreme Kai is going to put on, but we'll find out. So as they're walking, Goku senses an ambush about to happen with this key, and he takes that guy out with ease. Animation there looked pretty decent too. Nothing bad at all. He then explains the concept of ki to Glorio, which is interesting that Glorio doesn't know about ki, but Glorio is yet already so strong for, what he's showing. So that's pretty cool to know that was something he didn't know, but maybe that's something he's going to learn now at some point in this series. They then stop at a break, for a break, at a cafe, and over there Glorio's trying to bargain for a plane after they eat, and what's offered to them instead is a sky seed. And that's going to be explained a little bit later in the episode what that is exactly, but I'll talk about that too. Goku and the Supreme Kai in the meantime learn about these different kinds of medicinal bugs that are around in the demon world, which I think is pretty cool that they have this. And they find one called the Revive Bug, which actually has very similar properties to Sensu Beans pretty much. So they have their own variation of those, which I think is pretty cool. There's also one that they kind of hinted at, I feel like. It's called the Join Bug, and it's basically shows a picture of a fusion. So this kind of makes me think maybe we're going to get fusion down the line at some point in this series, which I think could be really cool. So after the bugs are talked about, the medicinal bugs, they end up taking the Sky Seed, which ends up being a catapult kind of system that looks like it's shaped like a flying broom. So it felt like they were flying on a flying broom for a little bit after they got catapulted. So you get catapulted about a certain distance, and that's pretty much what Glorio bargained on. And it was a pretty cool scene. It looked nice. One thing I will keep saying is that the stuff in the demon world has been really visually cool to see. It feels like, we're really in a unique world and we're getting to see some aspects of that. I really am enjoying that. So, after they take that, they go and they have to make a bit of a safe landing because it basically crashes down. That's kind of the point of it. So, they use some flight after that. So after that scene is done, they go back to walking, and Goku shows that he bought some bugs. So we know now for a fact that Goku's gonna do something down the line with some of these. He was already suggesting flying again and saying we could maybe use these revive bugs. So he was already talking about using these sensu beans if they ran out of stamina from flying, but they decide to not do that ultimately. Glorio then talks about the demon realm having the original Dragon Balls out of anywhere else, and that the locations are not secret at all. They're well known in the demon realm. Apparently, there's one per demon world, and all three Dragon Balls are guarded by the Tamagamis. And these are the creatures that I feel like we have seen a little bit in the opening, and I feel like they're going to be pretty heavily guarded because they probably don't want just anybody to go and use the Dragon Balls in the demon world or demon realm, even as a whole. So, Glorio pretty much tells Goku that they're incredibly strong. This just makes Goku excited for the challenge. Glorio tells him after that no one has ever got all three and had a wish granted. And instead of scaring off Goku, of course, in classic Goku fashion, this just makes Goku even more excited and want to try to go after these Dragon Balls even more. And honestly, that was probably one of my favorite scenes in the episode, seeing Goku act like that. Especially when Goku was told that there's a strong threat around. Goku's the kind of character to get excited, and that's an aspect I love about him. So I felt like that was very in character, and it was a really cool scene to see that despite the situation sounding tougher and scarier, Goku just kept getting more and more excited and wanted to do it more. So that was pretty cool. Supreme Kai pretty much tries to object this idea though because Dende is priority, he says, rescuing Dende, which I think makes sense too. But they do also talk about how the location is in the opposite direction of warp from which they went. So pretty much on the opposite side of the planet they're on, I believe. So Goku still tries suggesting though that they gather the Dragon Balls while rescuing Dende so that they can make a wish in the meantime to become grown again. Which, I think smart little idea from Goku, and Glorio agrees too. He says it may be worth trying. Goku's pretty excited that he agrees and that the Supreme Kai caves in and agrees too. And then we get like a little cut of Glorio doing like a little smile, but we don't see his full face. So it kind of looked a little suspicious. As if Glorio has some ulterior motive. Not that he's necessarily evil, but maybe he wants to use that wish for something. You just never know. But they definitely did a cut like that, so Glorio definitely has something he's hiding at the least. We then move on to the next scene where Glorio, Goku, and Supreme Kai spot the Demon King's military police trying to collect offerings from some people in a little village, and they're pretty much being told that they must offer up 3 gold coins or they'll lose 3 years of their life per coin not given. And this is apparently a big cost increase of offerings compared to what they had to give during Deborah's time. And apparently there's no point in these villagers fleeing either because they all have magic collars around their necks so they can always be controlled and located. And pretty much the military police here is saying that fleeing will cause another 10 years of life loss. So that's another thing mentioned. So again, I do like the lore expansion. We're getting a little bit more about how the demon world's operating in terms of control, which we seem to see that comes from the military police doing Goma's bidding. So we do get that, and Goku's pretty much asking Glorio if they should beat those guys up and help the people, and Glorio says no for now, especially because he doesn't want to stir up trouble. But Goku's about to step in to save an old man who doesn't have anything to offer them. So that means he would lose 9 years of his life, but he's an old man, so we don't know if he would even have 9 years of his life. So as Goku's about to step in, someone else ends up stepping in instead with the mask hood and throws a wasabi bomb, which ends up not working. And she gets caught trying to escape as well. So at that moment, Goku runs in and attacks with the power pole, and he takes them out with ease. Really good looking scene. She ends up escaping, but after that, Goku ends up beating up even more of them with the power pole. And man, seeing this again felt great, especially as someone who really enjoyed OG Dragon Ball. There was beautiful animation and beautiful choreography as well. Really, really good stuff overall. I really feel like Dragon Ball Daima is doing a great job visually on things. So I'm very happy we got to see that more this episode. I feel like this episode actually overall had probably the best animation scenes overall for Daima so far among the first 4 episodes. So I'm really happy to say that, and I'm happy that we got to see some of this improvement in quality on the screen even more this week. We did get to see some last week, and we definitely got to see some in episode 1, but seeing this right now too, especially with how Goku was using the power pole, was really fun to see. So after that, Goku, Glorio, and Supreme Kai run away from the few remaining soldiers there because Goku overdid it and now is probably a fugitive. So they probably just didn't want to cause any more trouble, because it was already looking kind of bad enough with the situation. And yeah. But the episode pretty much ends off with the mask girl appearing in front of them and revealing herself by taking the mask off. It is a character that's going to be very heavily involved in Dragon Ball Daima, named Pansy. We see her in the intro, and there's been a lot of character art that's come out about her too, I believe, from the previous trailers. And there's just been a lot of spoilers too that certain people have gotten their hands on that reveal as well that she's going to be a big character to come forward. And pretty much next week's episode is also titled after. It's titled Pansy. We also did get to see a little bit of action in the preview for the next week, so who knows where we're going to head for sure. But I'm sure we're going to get to learn about her as a character and maybe reveal a little bit of her motivations of what she wants. So we'll see how that goes. But all in all, a great episode of Dragon Ball Daima. Probably my second most favorite episode, possibly even my most favorite episode. From a fight perspective, definitely my favorite episode. From a story perspective, I really did enjoy episode 1 as well, and it just felt like a really good pilot episode. So I don't know. I feel like it's between that one and this one for that, but nonetheless, I'm going to give this episode an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. I lean more towards 9 out of 10 for this one. I believe I gave the first episode something around the realm of 9, maybe max 9.5, but I think re-looking at it, it'd probably be a 9 out of 10. This is probably in the same ballpark, so they're about the same for me in terms of which one I have for my favorite episode right now. But nonetheless, both great episodes. Last week was also a really, really good one. So right now I'd probably rank them somewhere among the lines of 1 and 4 are the best. 3 was really good, and 2 was a good little setup episode. So that's kind of my thoughts right now on Dragon Ball Daima and for episode 4. Definitely let me know what you guys think about episode 4 in the comments below. But that's going to wrap up this one. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. And as always, I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.